Okay, on number 22, you have a revolution of a 2D figure that's creating a 3D solid. And it says if a triangle is formed by connecting the points 1, 0, 8, 0, and 3, 6, and is rotated about the x-axis, what is the volume of the resulting solid? So it's really important that you pay attention to what you're revolving around, the x-axis instead of the y-axis. So the first step in creating this solid is remember to reflect it across the line that you're revolving around. So these 2 points that are on the x-axis will not move. It's only this point that is 3, 6 that'll end up at 3, negative 6 when I reflect it. So this is the reflected triangle after reflecting across the x-axis. Now, typically we create those flat circular faces when we have a line perpendicular to the line we're revolving around, and none of these sides are perpendicular to that. We do, however, create some of those flat circular parts, but it's inside the solid. If we think about the height of this triangle being perpendicular to this base, that's where the flat circular parts are inside. And so I've kind of drawn it here so you can see what's happening. We know that when we revolve a triangle, we usually create a cone. Well, we do. We create 2 cones. We look at this right triangle creating this cone right here, and then we have this right triangle creating this cone on this side. So you have 2 cones that are base to base in this solid. So when we're finding the volume, we know to find the volume of a cone, it's 1/3 of a cylinder, so 1/3 of the base area, pi r squared, times height. So these 2 cones base to base, we need to know the radius and height of both of them, which the radius is going to be the same for both of them. All the way across here, we have 6 plus 6 is 12 units, so the radius of each cone is simply 6. The height is different for the cones. Since it's at x equals 3 that we have this altitude drawn here, we can see better up here that the height of the large cone goes from 3 to 8. So it has a height of 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. Whereas the smaller cone, it goes from 3 to 1. So it only has a height of 2. So we have one cone with a radius of 6 and height of 5, and one with a radius of 6 and a height of 2. So our volume of this solid is going to be 1/3 pi 6 squared times 5 plus 1/3 pi 6 squared times 2. So we can find these answers in terms of pi by 6 squared is 36. 36 times 5 is 180. And then we're dividing by 3 to get 60 pi as the volume of the large cone. Here we have 6 squared is 36, times 2 is 72, and 72 divided by 3 is 24 pi for the small cone. Since these both have a pi, we can add them and get a total volume of 84 pi, whatever my units are, cubed. So 84 pi cubic units is the correct answer. Now here are a couple of things that you need to make sure that you know how to do in order to do the revolutions that are on your test. Make sure that you study number 3 from the notes, not the homework, but the notes for Unit 4 Worksheet 12. There's some important skills in that example, and remember there's a video on that example if you need to watch that over and make sure you know. Know the equations of vertical lines and horizontal lines and the difference between them. Remember, a vertical line is always x equals a number because a vertical line only crosses the x-axis. A horizontal line is y equals a number, and that's because a horizontal line only crosses the y-axis. So if I gave you a vertical line to reflect across, you would need to be able to do that, or a horizontal line to reflect across. So remember, x equals 0 is a vertical line where all the x coordinates are 0. That's the same thing as the y-axis. The equation y equals 0 is a horizontal line where all the points have a y of 0. That's the same thing as the x-axis. So that's some important information. Make sure you know how to graph a line that's in slope-intercept form. So if I gave you the line y equals 2x plus 3, you would have to know that you could plot a point at 3 on the y-axis, because that's your y-intercept, and then your slope, which is rise over run, of 2 would mean rise 2 and run 1. 2 over 1 is the same as 2. So you could start at 3 and rise 2 and run 1. Rise 2 and run 1. Or you can make both of them negative, and that's still a positive 2. So you could go down 2 and left 1, down 2 and left 1. That's the same effect. So make sure you know these things for your test.